Welcome to the presentation of engineering research method. The topic that will be discussed is friction stir welding. It is presented by Wahid Azhar. In this presentation, we will start by introducing the topic, then we will elaborate the concept of friction stir welding. After that, we will focus on the limitation that led to identify the possible gaps, which is regarding welding speed. That brings us to the suggested solution, which is the implication of preheating on the process. Next, we will demonstrate an overview about key points of the literature review, and that will lead us to the research question. Then we will discuss the research design, and we will finish with advantages and disadvantages on this research. In the 90s, it was discovered that it is possible to use the milling process to produce a welding joint on an aluminum plate by using the produced heat from the milling friction. This application was suitable on materials with lower strength properties. It was noticed that, unlike traditional welding methods, this process did not produce gases, so it is safe and reducing costs because no need to add filling materials to produce welding joints. Basically, the main objective of operating friction stir welding is to produce a welding joint under melting temperature, which maintains producing joints in a solid state, and this allows to maintain material quality. According to this, researchers were conducting experiments to expand and include a wider range of harder materials like steel. There are two main factors that directly affect welding speed, starting with material resistance, and this includes high melting temperatures and microstructural strength like hardness. The other factor is tools machining setups, because overheating can result with tools wearing due to friction. In order to apply friction stir welding on high resistant materials, preheating the workpiece is required. Simply, it is the process of preparation to the lower materials strength and increase the workability. This research has focused on the effects of applying thermal induction and laser beam methods and comparing the results. In this chapter, I will provide a brief review on the key points of literature review, starting with discussing a detailed information from related researches to cover all possible aspects that can affect welding speed. Every preheating process has advantages and disadvantages. So, a comparison was conducted to detect which preheating method is the most suitable for the experiment. Also, machinery and tools setups are affected and affecting welding speed. Increasing welding speed depends on these factors, so we need to preheat the workpiece in order to save working time and reduce material hardness. And also, we need to consider using coated cutting tools to avoid wearing situation. During preheating methods comparison, and according to the criteria of steady heat condition and controllable heating process, it was found that the most heating and suitable preheating process for the research is thermal induction. Regarding the cutting tools, the major impact on tools' life and performance is the heat generated by friction process. According to related researches, it is recommended to use suitable coated cutting tools in order to increase tools' life and performance. Based on the collected data and critically analyzing relating researches, the research question was formed, which is it possible to increase friction stir welding speed by applying thermal induction preheating on the process? Using a quasi-experimental design, the research was following related work standards when preparing the sample to process two stages. The first stage was using the common rotational and welding speed, then analyzing the results, and for stage 2, increasing welding speed during the process to measure the most possible welding speed that can be reached. After that, a cross-section test was applied to analyze the material's mechanical characteristics. This brings us to address some of the research design advantages, which are as the following. The research applied an induction method of preheating and was based on related research standards and results, and also tested and measured the impacts of material macrostructure in addition to cost effective. Finally, here are some disadvantages, which are the calculation of machining vibration was not conducted during the process of the experiment, and the research was relying on limited data. Here are the references used in the topic. And thank you.